Good morning, SC kids. I am so glad you guys are with us today. And if you weren't with us last week, what did we talk about? We talked about this king of Babylon, where God's chosen people were living, made a crazy rule. He built a giant tower, 90 feet tall, and told everyone they had to bow down and worship it, or they would what? Get thrown in a fiery furnace. Ah! But if you thought that was crazy, check out this week's law, where a different king made a rule that if you prayed to God, you would get thrown in a pit of lions. And we'll see how this guy named Daniel chose not to obey and got thrown in the pit of lions. But don't worry, Daniel was not on the menu that night. Or should I say, menu. Okay, anyways, so I'm excited for you guys to see that in our story and to see how it all plays out. But first, we've got a game to play with some other crazy laws that exist here in our country today. Let's play. So I'm gonna share 5 crazy laws that exist in our country today, and you're gonna have to guess which one it is when I read them. You ready? Let's go. First one, in Alabama, it is illegal to drive while A, eating spaghetti, B, wearing a blindfold, or C, listening to music. What do you think it is? It is B, wearing a blindfold. Duh. Makes sense, right? All right, number 2. In Colorado, it is illegal to keep a blank on your porch. Is it A, a couch on your porch, B, a squirt gun, or C, a carton of milk? It is A. It is illegal to keep a couch on your porch. Who knows why? Anyways, next, number 3. In Louisiana, you cannot do this for someone's birthday. A, smash a cake in their face. B, buy them a pet. Or C, have a pizza delivered to their house. Let me think. What do you think? It is C! You cannot have a pizza delivered to somebody else's house. Hello, if you want to deliver pizza to my house, I'll leave my address in the comments. Number 4. In Nevada, you cannot sit A, on the roof, B, on the sidewalk, or C, on your friend's face. What do you think it is? What is the law in Nevada? It is B, you cannot sit on the sidewalk in Nevada. Well, think, if you're scootering on by and someone's sitting, bloop, bad day for you and that guy. All right, last one, number 5. What's your guys' score, by the way? How many have you gotten right? Throw up your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 0. All right, number 5. If you said 0, this is your chance. In West Virginia, you cannot wear blank to the movies. Is it A, a hat, B, pajamas, or C, a Batman costume? What is it illegal to wear to the movies in West Virginia? It is A hat. You cannot wear a hat to the movies. What wacky laws, you guys. Ah!
King Darius was the new leader in Babylon. Babylon was a large kingdom, so the king picked men to be leaders over small parts of Babylon. The king picked Daniel to be one of the leaders. Daniel was very good at his job. So Darius decided to put Daniel in charge of all of Babylon. When the other leaders heard about this, they were jealous. They watched Daniel and waited for him to do something wrong so they could get him in trouble. But Daniel did what was right. The leaders knew Daniel obeyed God, so they made a plan to get Daniel in trouble for praying. They said to King Darius, "King, all of your leaders think it would be a good idea to pass a law. For the next 30 days, no one may pray to any god or man except to you. Anyone who disobeys the law will be thrown into the lion's den." King Darius agreed to pass the law. Daniel knew the law meant he was not allowed to pray to God. Still, Daniel went into his house and prayed to God 3 times a day, just like he had always done. The jealous leaders saw Daniel praying, and they told the king that Daniel had broken the law. King Darius was upset. He didn't want to punish Daniel. The king thought all day about how he could save Daniel from the lions. "The law can't be changed," the men reminded King Darius. So King Darius ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den. "May the God you serve save you," he said. The king went to his palace for the night. He did not eat and he could not sleep. He thought about Daniel with the lions. As soon as the sun came up the next morning, the king hurried to the lion's den. He cried out, "Daniel, has your God rescued you from the lions?" Daniel shouted back, "God sent his angel to shut the lion's mouth. I am safe." The king was so happy. He ordered for Daniel to be taken out of the lion's den. Daniel wasn't hurt because he had trusted in God. King Darius made a new law. Everyone must respect God. King Darius wrote, "He is the living God. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions." God showed his power to rescue Daniel from the lions, but Daniel was just a small part of a much bigger story. God ultimately rescued us from a much bigger problem, sin and death, through his son, Jesus.
Even though they told him he would get thrown in a lion's den, Daniel did not stop praying to God. And let me ask you, what would you stop doing if they told you you would get thrown in a lion's den? Pretty much everything. And yet Daniel didn't. He kept praying to God because he knew how amazing it was to get to pray to him. And I know, guys, sometimes when you look at prayer, you're like, that looks kind of boring. But think about it. When you're praying, you're talking to God, the one who made the whole world. You get to talk to him. And what does God do when we talk to him? Does he go, boring, yada, 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 yada? No, he comes close and he listens. Yes, when you tell him happy things, he smiles with you. When you tell him sad things, he cries with you. When you tell him what you need, he listens. If Daniel were here today, he would be telling us, friends, it is so amazing that you get to pray to God. And for us today, we can remember that we get to pray to God, and it's the most amazing thing to get to talk to Him as our friend, because He is the one who loves us, who is in control, and is always listening.
Every prayer before you even pray it. So let Him hear you now. Let Him hear you shout. He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening.
So, for our takeaway talk today, you guys keeping an eye out for me? I think the lions are sleeping still. Anyways, I'm going to whisper. So, for our takeaway talk today, we're going to talk to God. Share in your small group one thing that you want to tell God you're thankful for, and one thing that you want to ask God for. And we know that He loves to talk to us and is always listening.